Here is my audience for my speech.
My name is Giselle Mendoza, and I will present my persuasive speech for Comm-1000. Is a few hours of entertainment really worth sacrificing an animal's entire life potential? Every year, over 21 million people visit SeaWorld parks. A lot of us don't even think twice about it. It's just something fun to do. But the truth is, behind the shows and the smiling trainers, there's a reality that most people never see. As someone going into healthcare, I've learned how important the well-being is, not just for humans, but of all living things. And researching this topic, I realized just how harmful captivity is for marine animals. Animal theme parks like SeaWorld should be closed because they harm animal welfare, they prioritize profit over proper care, and they mislead the public about what's really happening. First, I'll talk about how captivity affects these animals, then I'll explain how profit is put over their well-being. And finally, I'll show how these parks misinform the public. Marine animals like orcas and dolphins are not meant to live in tanks. In captivity, they both suffer physically and mentally. For example, orcas often develop something called dorsal fin collapse. In the wild, this is extremely rare, but in captivity, it happens to most adult males. Dolphins can also develop open wounds or injuries from performing repetitive tricks. And one of the biggest issues is space. In the wild, orcas can swim up to 100 miles a day and dive hundreds of feet deep, but in captivity, their tanks are only a tiny fraction of that. Instead of exploring the ocean, they're swimming in circles for hours. Some even chew on the sides of the tanks or bob their heads repeatedly. These are all signs of stress, boredom, and depression. On top of that, these animals are highly social. They live in a tight family group called pods. When they're taken from their families or separated in captivity, it causes extreme emotional distress. There have even been cases where animals try to escape just to get back to their pods. So not only are they physically restricted, but they also emotionally suffer. And when you look at all of this, it leads to a bigger question. What are these parks really prioritizing? End of the day, SeaWorld is a business, and like most businesses, their goal is to profit. A worldwide study found that about 75% of zoos and aquariums offer animal interactions that go against ethical guidelines. That means animals are just being used in ways that are not in their best interest, just to entertain visitors. SeaWorld made about $1.7 billion in revenue in 2022, but despite making that much money, animals are still kept in small enclosures and continue to die before their natural lifespan. There have been reports of multiple dolphin and whale deaths in just 1 year, including young animals like babies. Some even died during transportation between parks. One reason enclosures stay small is because expanding them would cost more money. So instead of just improving the animals' living conditions, they keep things the same to protect profit. So while visitors are paying for tickets and experiences, the animals are paying the real price, and it doesn't stop there. These parks also go out of their way to control what the people believe. SeaWorld has been caught multiple times giving false or misleading information. For example, they've claimed that dorsal fin collapse in orcas is normal, but in reality, less than 1% of wild orcas have this condition. It's actually a sign that something is wrong. They've also said that separating orcas from their families help their social structure, but in the wild, orcas stay together with their families for life. Separation goes completely against the natural order and their natural behavior. Another claim is that orcas live just as long in captivity as they do in the wild, but that's not true either. Orcas in the wild can live up to 80 or even over 100 years. In captivity, many don't even make it past 30. So the public is being told one thing, when in reality, it is completely different. Today, I talked about how marine animals suffer in captivity, how profit is placed above their well-being, and how the public, like me and you, are misled about what's really happening. SeaWorld and similar parks do more harm than good. both for the animals and for our understanding of them. So next time you think about going to a marine park, ask yourself, are we supporting harmless entertainment or are we supporting the suffering of living creatures?